Sam Kelly adjusted his blue tie in the mirror of the hotel bathroom. The fancy hotel room had been booked by his old college friend Jack Porter for all the groomsmen. Sam checked his watch. In 2 hours, Jack would marry Olivia Wright, his girlfriend. Of 3 years, Sam smiled at his reflection. He was happy for his friend. Jack deserved this happiness after so many years of bad luck with dating. Sam had met Olivia only twice before. Once at a dinner party Jack had thrown to introduce her to his closest friends, and once at their engagement party 6 months ago. She seemed kind and smart. She worked as a kindergarten teacher and had a warm laugh that made everyone around her smile too. Jack had fallen for her hard and fast. "Hey Doc, you ready?" called a voice from the other room. It was Eric, another groomsman and their old college buddy, coming. Sam replied. He took one last look in the mirror and stepped out of the bathroom. Being a doctor sometimes made Sam feel different from his old friends. They talked about office politics and sales reports. He dealt with patients and illnesses every day. Sometimes it created a gap between them, but not with Jack. Jack had always been interested in Sam's work as a dermatologist at Boston General Hospital, asking questions and listening to Sam's stories with real interest. The wedding ceremony was held in a small stone church with stained glass windows that painted colorful patterns on the wooden floors. Sam stood with the other groomsmen, watching as Jack's face lit up when Olivia appeared at the end of the aisle. Her white dress had delicate lace sleeves and an open back that showed her smooth skin. Her father walked beside her, looking proud and a little emotional. Sam felt his eyes get a bit watery too, as his friend said his vows in a clear, steady voice. When Jack and Olivia were pronounced husband and wife, everyone cheered. Sam clapped until his hands hurt. The reception was held in a beautiful garden behind a historic mansion. Lights hung from tree branches and flowers decorated every table. A small band played soft music as people found their seats. Sam was at a table with other friends from college. They talked and laughed about old memories while eating the excellent dinner. "Remember when Jack tried to cook a spaghetti in sophomore year and nearly burned down the apartment?" Eric said, making everyone at the table laugh. "And now someone has agreed to let him near a kitchen for life," Sam added with a smile. "Olivia must be brave." After dinner, the band started playing louder, more energetic songs. The dance floor filled quickly. Sam wasn't much of a dancer, but he joined in for a few songs before moving to get a drink at the bar. He stood there, watching his friends having fun. Jack and Olivia were dancing in the center of the floor, looking completely lost in each other. Night was warm, and Olivia had changed into her second dress for the reception. This one was simpler, with thin straps and a flowing skirt that moved when she danced. As Jack twirled her under the twinkling lights, Sam noticed something on her upper back, between her shoulder blades. At first, he thought it was just a shadow or maybe a birthmark, but as she turned again, the light hit her back differently, and Sam felt a chill run through him. The mark on her back wasn't just any mole. It had an irregular shape, uneven borders, and varied coloration, all classic warning signs that Sam had been trained to recognize. Sam blinked hard and looked again, hoping he was wrong. But as doctors, I couldn't unsee what he had spotted. The mole had all the characteristics of melanoma, a serious form of skin cancer. And from what he could tell in this lighting, it didn't look like an early stage. He took a large sip of his drink, trying to push the thought away. This was a wedding, a celebration. He was here as Jack's friend, not as a doctor. Maybe he was overreacting. Maybe the strange lighting was playing tricks on his eyes. But as the night went on, Sam kept noticing the mark whenever Olivia turned a certain way, nagged at him like an itch he couldn't scratch. If he was right, and that was indeed melanoma, time could be critically important. Melanoma could spread quickly to other parts of the body if not treated early. During the cake cutting, Sam tried to focus on the happy moment, clapping as Jack and Olivia playfully fed each other small bites of cake. But his mind kept going back to that mole. "Look deep in thought," said a voice beside him. It was Lisa, another friend from college. "Wedding making you philosophical about life?" Sam forced a smile. "Just happy for them. They seem really good together." "They do," Lisa agreed. "Olivia's great for Jack. Much better than that awful girl he dated senior year. What was her name again? Kimberly, Sam said automatically, his eyes still tracking Olivia across the room. Later, as the night was winding down, Sam found himself near the gift table where Jack was adjusting some of the presents. "There he is," Jack said warmly, giving Sam a one-armed hug. "Thanks for being here, man. It means a lot." "Wouldn't have missed it," Sam replied truthfully. "It was a beautiful wedding. We got lucky with the weather," Jack said, looking up at the clear night sky. "And speaking of luck, did you see my wife? My wife, Sam? Can you believe I get to call her that now?" Sam smiled at his friend's joy. "She's amazing, Jack. You guys are perfect together." "We're heading to Greece tomorrow for 2 weeks," Jack continued excitedly. "Santorini and Athens. Olivia's never been to Europe." Sam felt his stomach tighten. 2 weeks. If that mole was what he feared it might be, 2 weeks could make a difference in treatment options and outcomes. "Sounds great," he managed to say. "You'll have an amazing time." As Jack moved away to thank other guests, Sam stood frozen, uncertain what to do. Should he say something? Would it be incredibly inappropriate to bring up a potential health concern at someone's wedding? Would Olivia be embarrassed or upset? Would Jack think he was overstepping? But the alternative, saying nothing, seemed worse. If he was right about what he saw, and he said nothing, he would never forgive himself. The party continued around him as Sam struggled with his thoughts. Couples danced slowly to the band's final songs. The older guests had started to leave, saying warm goodbyes and offering congratulations one last time. Sam watched as Olivia hugged her parents by the garden exit. She looked so happy, so full of life and excitement for her future with Jack. Her whole life was ahead of her if that mole was caught in time. As a doctor, Sam had delivered difficult news many times. It was never easy, but it was part of his job. This felt different. These were his friends, and this was supposed to be the happiest day of their lives. By the time the band played their final song, Sam had made his decision. He would find a way to speak to Jack privately tomorrow, before they left for Greece. He would be tactful, but honest. It might be nothing. He hoped it was nothing, but he couldn't take that chance. As he said goodbye to the happy couple, hugging them both and offering his congratulations one more time, Sam felt the weight of his knowledge pressing down on him. Tomorrow would be difficult, but tonight, he would let them have their perfect wedding day. Sam drove home alone, the headlights cutting through the dark night. His mind raced with how to approach the delicate conversation ahead. Sometimes being a doctor meant making hard choices. Sometimes it meant seeing things you wished you hadn't seen. But sometimes, it also meant having the chance to make a real difference in someone's life. He just hoped Jack and Olivia would understand why he had to speak up. Sam didn't sleep well that night. He tossed and turned in his bed, his mind playing the same scene over and over the moment he saw the unusual mole on Olivia's back. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw it again, clear as day. The irregular shape, the uneven color, all the warning signs he had been trained to recognize by morning. His alarm clock showed 6:15, and Sam had only managed a few hours of restless sleep. He sat up and rubbed his tired eyes. Jack and Olivia's flight to Greece was scheduled for 2 p.m. He didn't have much time. Sam made himself a strong cup of coffee and sat at his kitchen table, staring at his phone. How exactly should he approach this? He couldn't just call and say, "Hey, I think your new wife might have skin cancer." There was no good way to deliver news like this, especially the day after a wedding. After finishing his coffee, Sam decided to call his colleague Dr. Maya Williams. Maya specialized in skin cancer treatment at the same hospital where Sam worked. If anyone could give him good advice, it would be her. "Maya, sorry to bother you on a Sunday," Sam said when she answered. "No problem, Sam. What's up?" Maya replied, sounding like she had been awake for hours already. Sam explained the situation, what he had seen at the wedding, his concerns, and his uncertainty about how to handle it. Maya listened quietly until he finished. "Trust your instincts." "Sam," she said firmly, "if you think it looks suspicious, it probably is. Melanoma isn't something to wait on. Every week can matter." "But it's their honeymoon," Sam argued weakly. "They're supposed to leave for Greece today. They can go to Greece next month if everything checks out fine," Maya countered. But if it is melanoma, and it's already spread, waiting 2 more weeks could be serious. Deep down, Sam knew she was right. He thanked her for the advice, and then asked one more favor. If I can convince them to get it checked before they leave. Could you see her today? I know it's Sunday, and last-minute, ... Send her to the hospital clinic. I'm on call today anyway, Maya said without hesitation. I'll make sure she gets seen immediately. After hanging up, Sam took a deep breath and called Jack. As the phone rang, he rehearsed what to say, trying to find the right words. Hey, Sam. Jack answered cheerfully. What's up, man? Still recovering from last night? Morning, Jack, Sam replied, trying to keep his voice casual. How are you guys doing? All packed for Greece. Just about. Olivia's double-checking that we have all our documents. You know how it is. Sam heard Olivia's voice in the background, saying something about passports. They sounded happy, excited for their trip. Sam hated what he was about to do. Listen, Jack, he began carefully. I was wondering if I could stop by your place this morning. There's something I wanted to talk to you about before you leave. There was a brief pause. Everything okay? Jack asked, his tone changing slightly. It's just something I'd prefer to discuss in person, Sam said, trying to sound reassuring. It won't take long, I promise. Sure. Come over. We're just having breakfast. You want to join us? Sam agreed and said he'd be there in 30 minutes. After hanging up, he sat still for a moment, gathering his courage. Then he got dressed quickly, grabbed his car keys, and headed out. Jack and Olivia lived in a small apartment near the elementary school where Olivia taught. It was a bright, cheerful place, with plants in every window. When Sam arrived, Jack welcomed him with a hug. Come in. We've got coffee and bagels, Jack said, leading him inside. Olivia was sitting at their small kitchen table, looking beautiful, even in simple clothes. Her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She smiled warmly at Sam. Good morning. Want some coffee? She offered. That would be great, thanks, Sam replied, sitting down at the table. For a few minutes, they chatted about the wedding, how beautiful it had been, how much fun everyone had, how perfect the weather had turned out. Sam tried to act normal, but he could feel tension building in his chest. Finally, there was a pause in the conversation, and Jack looked at him curiously. So what did you want to talk about? He asked. Sam set down his coffee cup and took a deep breath. This is a bit awkward. I want you both to know that I thought long and hard about whether to bring this up, especially today. Jack and Olivia exchanged confused glances. What is it, Sam? Olivia asked, her voice tinged with concern. Last night at the reception, I noticed something, Sam began, looking directly at Olivia. On your upper back, between your shoulder blades, there's a mole or mark that has some characteristics that concern me professionally. Olivia's hand automatically went to her back, though she couldn't reach the spot he was describing.
What do you mean?
She asked quietly. As a dermatologist, I'm trained to look for certain warning signs in skin marks or moles, Sam explained gently. The one on your back has several features that suggest it should be checked by a specialist as soon as possible. Are you saying it could be skin cancer? Jack asked bluntly, his face suddenly pale. I'm saying it has some warning signs and should be checked, Sam replied carefully. It might be nothing to worry about. But if it is melanoma, early detection is extremely important. The kitchen fell silent. Olivia looked stunned, and Jack seemed frozen in place. I know this is terrible timing, Sam continued, and I'm so sorry to bring this up right before your honeymoon, but I wouldn't be saying anything if I didn't think it was important. Olivia was the first to recover. Can you look at it more closely now? She asked, her voice steady, despite the shock. I can, but I'd really prefer if you saw a specialist today, Sam replied. My colleague, Dr. Williams, is on call at the hospital clinic, and she's agreed to see you immediately if you can come in. Reached across the table and took Olivia's hand. We should go, he said firmly. Greece can wait. Olivia nodded slowly. Let me see it first, she said, standing up and turning her back to Sam. She pulled up the back of her shirt. Sam stood and examined the mole more carefully in the bright kitchen light. His heart sank. Close, it looked even more concerning than it had from a distance. It definitely should be checked today, he said, Trying to keep his voice professional and calm, Olivia lowered her shirt and turned around. Her face was composed, but Sam could see fear in her eyes. "Thank you for telling us," she said quietly. Most people wouldn't have said anything. "What time can we see your colleague?" Jack asked, already reaching for his phone. "She's expecting." "You. I'll text her that you're coming," Sam replied. "And I'll drive you there if you want?" "No, we can drive ourselves," Jack said. "We just need to get ready." Sam nodded and stood up. He had done what he came to do, and now he felt like they needed some space. "I'll let Dr. Williams know you're coming. She's one of the best, I promise," he said, moving toward the door. Jack walked him out, stopping at the front door. "Sam," he said in a low voice, "be straight with me. How bad is this?" Sam put his hand on his friend's shoulder. "I don't know for sure, Jack. It could be nothing. But if it is melanoma, catching it now rather than 2 weeks from now could make a real difference." Jack nodded, his jaw tight. "I'll call you after we see the doctor," he said. As Sam walked back to his car, he felt a mix of emotions. It's relief that he had spoken up. Worry about what Olivia might be facing. Guilt for ruining their honeymoon plans. But mostly he felt certain. He had done the right thing, no matter what the doctor found. Some things couldn't wait, even for a honeymoon in Greece. Sam spent the rest of the morning at home, unable to focus on anything. He tried reading a medical journal, but the words blurred together on the page. He tried watching TV, but nothing held his attention. His mind kept drifting back to Jack and Olivia. Around noon, his phone rang. It was Jack. "Hey, Sam," answered quickly. "How did it go?" "We're still at the hospital," Jack said, his voice tight. Dr. Williams examined Olivia and took some photos of the mole. She seemed concerned and called in another doctor to look at it. Sam's stomach dropped. "What happens next?" "They want to remove it today and do a biopsy," Jack explained. "They're preparing everything now. Olivia's being really brave, but I can tell she's scared. We both are." "I'm so sorry, Jack," Sam said, feeling a wave of guilt. "I know this isn't how you plan to spend the day after your wedding." "Don't apologize," Jack said firmly. "Dr. Williams said the same thing you did. This isn't something that should wait. She thinks you might have saved Olivia's life by speaking up." They talked for a few more minutes. Jack explained that they had already called the airline to cancel their flight and were trying to reach their hotel in Greece to postpone their reservation. Sam offered to help with any of those details, but Jack said they could manage. "Would it help if I came to the hospital?" Sam asked. There was a pause. "Maybe later," Jack said. "Right now, there's not much to do but wait. I'll call you when we know more." After they hung up, Sam paced around his apartment. He felt restless and worried. The fact that Dr. Williams had called in another doctor to look at the mole was not a good sign. It likely meant she thought it was serious and wanted a second opinion to confirm. Hours passed slowly. Sam tried to distract himself by cleaning his apartment, but his phone never left his pocket. He jumped every time it buzzed, but it was never Jack. Finally, around 4:30 p.m., his phone rang. It was Jack again. "They removed it," Jack said without preamble. "It was bigger than they expected. They had to cut pretty deep to get all of it out. Olivia has a lot of stitches. Did they say anything about what they think it is?" Sam asked. "Carefully," Dr. Williams said. "She's almost certain it's melanoma," Jack replied, his voice cracking slightly. "They won't know for sure until the biopsy results come back, but she said all the signs point to that. She's worried it might have spread because of how deep it went." Sam closed his eyes, absorbing the news. "When will they get the biopsy results?" "Tuesday. Hopefully. They're rushing it," Jack said. "Olivia's resting now. The procedure was more involved than we expected. They used local anesthesia, but it was still tough." "What can I do to help?" Sam asked. "Could you come over tomorrow? We need to figure out what to do next. Dr. Williams mentioned we might need to see an oncologist depending on the results. Honestly, I don't even know where to start with all this." "Of course," Sam said immediately. "I can be there any time. Just tell me when." "Thanks, Sam," Jack said, sounding exhausted. "I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't noticed that mole." After they hung up, Sam sat heavily on his couch. The situation was exactly what he had feared. If the mole was indeed melanoma and had grown deep enough to potentially spread, Olivia might need much more treatment, possibly surgery to check. Lymph nodes, maybe immunotherapy, or other treatments depending on how far it had spread. The next day, Sam arrived at Jack and Olivia's apartment at 10 a.m., as they had arranged. Jack looked tired, with dark circles under his eyes. He led Sam into the living room where Olivia was resting on the couch, a thick blanket covering her legs. She looked pale but managed a small smile when she saw Sam. "Thank you for coming," she said softly, "and thank you for what you did. Doctor said if we had waited until after our honeymoon, it might have been much worse." Sam sat in a chair across from her. "How are you feeling?" "Sore," Olivia admitted. "My back hurts where they did the procedure. I'm scared, to be honest." Jack sat next to his wife and took her hand. "We've been trying to learn as much as we can about melanoma, but it's overwhelming. There's so much information online, and we don't know what applies to Olivia's situation." Sam nodded understandingly. "It's best to wait for the biopsy results before diving too deep. Those results will tell us what stage the melanoma is, if it is melanoma, and that will determine what happens next." Dr. Williams seemed pretty sure. "It was melanoma," Olivia said quietly. "She's very experienced," Sam agreed. "But the biopsy will tell us exactly what type it is and how advanced. That's crucial information." For the next hour, Sam helped them understand what might come next. He explained that if it was early-stage melanoma, the removal they had already done might be enough. But if it was more advanced, Olivia might need additional treatments. "I made a list of oncologists who specialize in melanoma treatment," Sam said, pulling a paper from his pocket. "These are the best in the area. Dr. Williams will probably refer you to one of them if needed, but I wanted you too have this information." Olivia took the list with a grateful smile. "This means a lot, Sam." Jack got up to make coffee for everyone. While he was in the kitchen, Olivia leaned forward slightly. "I'm trying to be strong for Jack," she whispered. "He's so worried, but I'm terrified. We just got married. We have all these plans. I was going to start trying to get pregnant next. Year ... double quotes her voice trailed off, and Sam could see tears forming in her eyes. "One step at a time," Sam said gently. "Many people fully recover from melanoma, even when it's advanced. Medical treatments have improved dramatically in recent years." Olivia wiped her eyes quickly as Jack returned with the coffee. "So what should we do until we get the results?" Jack asked, sitting back down beside Olivia. "Try to rest," Sam advised. "Olivia needs to heal from the procedure. And try not to research too much online. This can be scary reading about worst-case scenarios." They talked a while longer, going over practical matters. Olivia would need to take at least a week off from teaching to recover from the procedure. They had managed to postpone their Greece trip rather than cancel it entirely, hoping they might still go later. As Sam was preparing to leave, Jack walked him to the door. "I haven't even had a chance to process that we're married," Jack admitted, in a low voice. "One day we're celebrating, and the next day we're facing this." "It doesn't seem real." "I know," Sam said sympathetically. "It's a lot to handle all at once." Jack looked back toward the living room where Olivia couldn't hear them. "If it's bad news, if it's spread, what are we looking at?" Sam put his hand on Jack's shoulder. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll know more on Tuesday. But whatever happens, I'll help you navigate it. You're not alone in this." Jack nodded, blinking rapidly. "Thanks for being here, and for noticing what no one else did." As Sam drove home, he thought about how quickly life could change. Just 2 days ago, Jack and Olivia had been celebrating their wedding, full of joy and plans for the future. Now they were waiting for test results that could change everything. Sam hoped with all his heart that the news would be good. The melanoma was caught early enough. But regardless of what Tuesday brought, he knew Jack and Olivia had a difficult road ahead. Tuesday morning arrived with gray skies and light rain. Sam had barely slept the night before, knowing that today Jack and Olivia would receive the biopsy results. He had offered to go with them to the hospital, but they had politely declined. Saying they needed to face this together as a couple, Sam tried to focus on his own patients at the hospital. But his mind kept drifting to his friends. He checked his phone between appointments, hoping for news, but there was nothing. By lunchtime, he couldn't stand the waiting anymore and texted Jack, Thinking of you both today. Let me know when you can. The reply came almost immediately. Still waiting? Doctor running late? We'll call you after. Sam put his phone away and tried to eat his lunch, but he had no appetite. One of the nurses noticed his distraction. Everything okay, Dr. Kelly? She asked. Just worried about some friends, Sam replied. Personal matter? The nurse nodded sympathetically and didn't press further. It was nearly 3 p.m. when Sam's phone finally rang. He had just finished with a patient and quickly stepped into an empty examination room to take the call. Jack. How did it go? He asked immediately. There was a heavy silence before Jack spoke. It's not good, Sam. Stage 3 melanoma. It's already spread to the nearby lymph nodes. Sam closed his eyes, taking in the news. Stage 3 meant the cancer had moved beyond the original site, but hadn't yet spread to distant parts of the body. It was serious, but treatable. I'm so sorry, Jack, Sam said quietly. What did the doctor recommend? They want to do surgery too? Remove the affected lymph nodes as soon as possible, Jack explained, his voice strained. Then they're talking about immunotherapy afterward. It's all happening so fast. We've already met with the oncologist, Dr. Bennett. He's scheduled the surgery for Friday. That's good, Sam said. Dr. Bennett is excellent. Moving quickly is important. Olivia's being so strong, Jack continued. Stronger than me, honestly. I keep thinking about how we could have gone to Greece without knowing, and by the time we got back, ... His voice trailed off. But you didn't, Sam reminded him. You're dealing with it now, and that's what matters. They talked for a few more minutes. Jack explained that they had spent the morning meeting with different doctors, getting the diagnosis, and developing a treatment plan. Olivia was exhausted and resting at home now. The next few months would be focused entirely on her treatment and recovery. Can I come by tonight? Sam asked. I can bring dinner. You both probably don't feel like cooking. That would be great, Jack said, sounding relieved. Olivia's parents are flying in tomorrow, but tonight it's just us. We could use the company. After work, Sam picked up food from Jack and Olivia's favorite Italian restaurant. Pasta, salad, and garlic bread. He also stopped at a bookstore and bought a few novels that Olivia might enjoy during her recovery. When he arrived at their apartment, Jack looked tired but managed a small smile as he let Sam in. Olivia was on the couch again, wrapped in a blanket. Despite the warm evening, I brought food, Sam said, holding up the bags. And some books. I thought you might want something to read in the coming weeks. That's so thoughtful, Olivia said. Her voice was steady, but Sam could see the fear in her eyes. Thank you, Sam, for everything. They ate dinner together at the coffee table in the living room, trying to keep the conversation light. A funny story about calling their travel agent to reschedule the honeymoon, and for a brief moment, things felt almost normal, but reality was never far away. Dr. Bennett explained what's going to happen with the surgery, Olivia said as they finished eating. They'll remove the lymph nodes under my left arm since that's where the cancer seems to be heading. He said there will be a bigger scar than the one on my back. I told her scars are sexy, Jack said, trying to smile. Very badass, Olivia rolled. Her eyes but reached for his hand. Jack's been amazing, she said to Sam. He's already taken time off work to be with me for the surgery and recovery. Of course I did, Jack said. In sickness and in health, right? We just got to the in sickness part sooner than expected. After dinner, while Olivia was in the bathroom, Jack pulled Sam aside in the kitchen. I haven't told Olivia this yet, he whispered, but Dr. Bennett said that even with treatment, the 5-year survival rate for stage 3 melanoma is around 65%. Sam nodded slowly. Those are average statistics, Jack. Olivia is young and healthy otherwise. Treatments are improving all the time. I know, Jack said, running a hand through his hair, but I can't stop thinking about it. We just started our life together, and now I'm facing the possibility of ... double quotes. He couldn't finish the sentence. One day at a time, Sam said firmly. Right now, focus on the surgery and recovery. Don't get ahead of yourself. When Olivia returned, they looked through the books Sam had brought. She seemed genuinely pleased, especially with the historical novel she had mentioned wanting to read months ago. "I can't believe you remembered I wanted this book," she said, smiling at Sam. "Jack mentioned it at poker night once," Sam replied, though in truth he had called another friend to ask what books Olivia might like. As the evening went on, Sam could see both Jack and Olivia growing tired. The emotional toll of the day was catching up with them. He helped clean up the dinner dishes and prepared to leave. "Olivia's parents arrive tomorrow," Jack said as he walked Sam to the door. "Her mom's planning to stay for a few weeks to help out after the surgery." "That's good," Sam said. "You'll need the support. Will you come visit after the surgery?" Olivia called from the couch. "Doctor said I'll be in the hospital for at least 2 days." "Of course," Sam promised. "Wild horses couldn't keep me away." As Sam drove home, the weight of the situation settled on him. Stage 3 melanoma was serious. The treatment would be difficult and the outcome uncertain. But he kept reminding himself that if they had waited until after the honeymoon, it might have been stage 4, a much worse diagnosis with a much lower survival rate. The next few days passed in a blur. Sam checked in with Jack daily by text, but tried not to intrude too much, knowing that Olivia's parents were now there to help. On Friday morning, he sent a simple message. "Thinking of you both today. Olivia's in good hands with Dr. Bennett." Jack replied with a photo of Olivia in a hospital gown, giving a thumbs up despite the fear evident in her eyes. The message read, "About to go in. She says to tell you, thanks again for being so observant at our wedding." Sam stared at the photo for a long time. He thought about how different things might have been if he hadn't noticed that mole, or if he had decided not to say anything. Sometimes small moments and decisions could change the course of a life, or save one. That evening, Jack texted that the surgery had gone well. They had removed several lymph nodes, and Olivia was recovering. In the hospital, the doctors were cautiously optimistic, but they wouldn't know more until they tested the removed lymph nodes. 2 days later, as promised, Sam visited Olivia in the hospital. She looked pale and tired, with a large bandage visible under her hospital gown where they had removed the lymph nodes. But she was sitting up and even managed to smile when Sam came in with a bouquet of bright yellow flowers. "Yellow for hope," Sam said as he set them on her bedside table. Olivia reached for his hand. "The doctor said if we had waited even 2 more weeks, it might have spread much further. You saved my life, Sam." Sam squeezed her hand gently. "That's what friends are for." Although I'll admit, most friends don't usually have to deal with skin cancer diagnoses right after the wedding. "Well, we've never been a normal couple," Jack said from his seat beside the bed. "Why start now?" Their attempt at humor was brave, Sam thought. Behind their smiles, he could see the fear and uncertainty they were both carrying. But he could also see something else: determination. Neither Jack nor Olivia was giving up. They were facing this challenge together, just days into their marriage. As Sam left the hospital that evening, he realized that while he may have noticed the melanoma, it was Jack and Olivia's courage that would see them through what came next. 1 year had passed since Jack and Olivia's wedding day. The seasons had changed. Winter had turned to spring, then summer, fall, and winter again. Now it was spring once more, and the cherry trees were blooming across the city. Sam parked his car outside Jack and Olivia's new house, a small but charming 2-bedroom home they had purchased 3 months ago. He grabbed the gift bag from the passenger seat and walked up to the front door. Before he could knock, the door swung open. "You're right on time." Jack greeted him with a wide smile and a quick hug. "Come in. Everyone's in the backyard." Sam followed Jack through the house, noticing the cheerful yellow walls and family photos displayed in the hallway. Many of the photos were new. Pictures of Jack and Olivia in the hospital during her treatments. Olivia with her parents, the two of them standing in front of their new house. The backyard was decorated with streamers and balloons. A banner hung between 2 trees reading 1 year of new beginnings. A group of about 20 people stood around talking and laughing. Some were familiar faces from the wedding, while others Sam recognized as Olivia's family members. Olivia was in the center of the gathering, wearing a sleeveless blue dress that showed the scar on her upper back where the melanoma had been removed. Another scar was visible under her left arm from the lymph node surgery. She wore them proudly, not trying to hide them. When she saw Sam, she hurried over and hugged him tightly. "You made it?" she said happily. I was starting to worry you got called into the hospital. I switched shifts with another doctor, Sam explained. I wouldn't miss this for anything. Olivia looked good, healthy, and strong. Her skin had a warm glow and her eyes were bright and clear. No one would guess that just a year ago she had been fighting for her life. The past year had been incredibly difficult for Jack and Olivia. After the initial surgery to remove the lymph nodes, the tests had confirmed that the cancer had indeed spread. Olivia had needed immunotherapy treatments, which made her very sick at times. She had lost weight and her hair had thinned. There were days when she could barely get out of bed. Jack had been by her side through all of it, taking time off work to drive her to treatments and care for her when she was at her weakest. Sam had visited regularly, bringing food, books, and medical advice when needed. Now, a year later, they were celebrating. Olivia's most recent scans showed no signs of cancer. Her doctors were cautiously optimistic, though she would need regular checkups for years to come. Sam, come get some food, Jack called, gesturing to a large table filled with dishes. Olivia's mom made her famous lasagna. As Sam filled his plate, he chatted with other guests. Many of them knew who he was, the doctor friend who had noticed the melanoma at the wedding. An older woman who turned out to be Olivia's aunt hugged him with tears in her eyes. Saved our girl, she said simply. Sam felt a bit awkward with such praise, but he understood the family's gratitude. After everyone had eaten, Jack tapped a spoon against his glass to get the group's attention.
Thanks for coming today, he began, looking around at their friends and family. A year ago, Olivia
and I were standing at an altar, promising to love each other in sickness and in health. We had no idea how quickly that vow would be tested. People chuckled softly, and Olivia reached for Jack's hand. The day after our wedding, instead of flying to Greece, we were sitting in a doctor's office, learning that Olivia had stage 3 melanoma, Jack continued. It was the scariest moment of our lives. But today, we're celebrating. Not just our first wedding anniversary, but Olivia's recovery. He turned to look at Sam, and we wanted to especially thank Sam. Without his medical knowledge and his courage to speak up, we might be telling a very different story today. Everyone raised their glasses towards Sam, who felt his face grow warm with embarrassment. 2. Sam, Jack said, the best wedding guest ever. To Sam. Everyone echoed. Later, as the party continued, Olivia found Sam sitting alone on a garden bench. Mind if I join you? She asked. Please do, Sam replied, moving over to make room. Olivia sat beside him, smoothing her dress. You know, we finally rebooked our trip to Greece, she said. We're going next month. Better late than never, right? That's wonderful, Sam said sincerely. You deserve it. Olivia was quiet for a moment, watching the other guests. This past year wasn't the first year of marriage we imagined, she said finally. But in some ways, I think it made us stronger. Jack and I know we can handle anything together now. Sam nodded. You both showed incredible strength. Doctors told me that if we had gone on our honeymoon and waited 2 weeks to get them all checked, the cancer likely would have progressed to stage 4, Olivia said. My chances would have been much worse. She turned to look directly at Sam. I never properly thanked you. Not just for noticing the mole, but for having the courage to tell us. I know that must have been difficult, Sam admitted. I was afraid you'd think I was overstepping or ruining your special time. You saved my life, Olivia said simply. I'll always be grateful for that. Across the yard, Jack was talking animatedly with some friends. He caught Olivia's eye and smiled warmly at her. We're trying to have a baby, Olivia said quietly to Sam. The doctors say there's no reason why we can't. My treatments are done and all my scans are clear. Sam smiled. That's wonderful news. Life goes on, Olivia said. That's what this past year taught me. Even in the darkest moments, life goes on. And now we're ready for whatever comes next. As the afternoon turned to evening, guests began to leave. Sam stayed to help clean up, carrying plates and glasses into the kitchen. Jack joined him, loading the dishwasher. Sometimes I still think about what would have happened if you hadn't been at our wedding, Jack said, handing Sam a stack of plates. Or, if you hadn't said anything. I'm just glad I was there, Sam replied. You changed the course of our lives, Jack said. I don't know if I could have done what you did, spoken up in such an awkward situation. Sam thought about it for a moment. I think you would have, he said. When it matters, when someone's life might be at stake, I think most people would find the courage. After everything was cleaned up, Sam prepared to leave. Jack and Olivia walked him to his car. Will you come for dinner next weekend? Olivia asked. We want to show you the plans for the nursery. It's just in case we're successful. I'd love that, Sam said. He hugged them both before getting into his car. As he drove away, he glanced in the rearview mirror and saw them standing together in front of their house. Jack's arm around Olivia's waist, both waving goodbye. Sam smiled to himself. A year ago, he had made a difficult choice that had changed the lives of his friends forever. Being a doctor wasn't just about treating patients in a hospital. Sometimes it meant noticing things others didn't see, speaking up when it would be easier to stay silent, having the courage to deliver difficult news. As a wedding guest, he'd simply been there to celebrate his friend's happiness. But as a doctor, he had been able to ensure that happiness could continue for years to come. That, Sam thought, was the greatest gift he could have given them.